We're smooth 98.1 FM. Good morning and welcome to Lagos Talks 981 Lagos. It's about time we have this conversation. It's going to be a great conversation, I promise you. And just like the tradition so far, this morning it's going to be money related, finances. Let's get our books and see what the books of the country is looking like this morning. Everyone is tracing it to where, how, what was he spent on, and why are we still looking like this? Maybe tattered in some person's word, maybe decrepit in some word, maybe still needing a whole lot, but yet so much has been spent. As a result of this, over the weekend, people have cause, in spite of whatever they might have reason to smile or probably weep about, is the fact that the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, the ever ubiquitous in economic and social political issues, have raised an alarm, and they're writing letters to Nigeria's creditors to say, for the health of this country, for their own sake, please, don't give them again, please. So it will come across as an echo of more like saying, this country or this state subnationals are hooked on this dope. So don't get them into it again. I'm saying, don't give them again. That is what it's looking like right now. To cut the supplier from the buyer, that's what it is. If you don't give them, they would not have need for it. They would find a way to survive. So in essence, this morning, we are looking at Nigeria's debt profile has hit as much as this level, 87 trillion naira debt. And so Serap is saying the World Bank and allies should not give loans to Nigeria any longer. But in spite of that, we'll break it down to what we're looking at this morning: Nigeria's external debts and mismanagement of funds across the states of the Federation. I've been joined this morning by Peters Shodeinde, a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Omatseye. Nice having me on your program.
Welcome to Lagos Talks 981. So for us to get...
Good morning, Lagos. Welcome to Smooth FM.
So getting this conversation started is help us understand how we dug ourselves this deep into this hole now that is 87 feet down. Just converting 87 trillion naira to feet right now, and see how deep we're still digging ourselves. How did we get here?
Okay, thanks for the question. For all countries all over the world, you finance your country. You finance your programs based on what you have and what you can borrow. Like we all know, no nation is an island. You will try your best possible to generate all revenues within your country, but the demands of your people are there. You need to give them basic standard of living, that is food, clothing, shelter, health, education, security, environment. So in trying to discharge this welfare and security for the people, government finds itself having to spend more money, and more money. So when government looks at its portfolio, looks at its revenue, and finds out that I do not have enough to carry out all my programs, the next thing is to look for borrowing. Borrowing is not a problem as long as you can manage it. So Nigeria, as a developing country, we also look out and like, okay, I want to do A, B, C, D for my people. So you go out there and borrow these loans. I think the first loan Nigeria took is about around 1956, collecting $20-something million from the World Bank back then. But between then and now, Nigeria has suffered a whole lot in terms of debt management. We have a lot of opportunities. Nigeria is a blessed country. We have quite a lot of resources. That is why DMO will always tell you that our problem is not the debt. Our problem is revenue to service this debt. We have a lot of resources, but we are not harnessing them to service our own debt. So for me, I don't think our debt is the major problem. The major problem is... It's how to manage ourselves out of this debt.
Management you raised, but your opening submission lays the foundation for us to get this conversation going properly, because you touched on the point of, if we can debt sustainability is inherent in what your opening statements stating right now. So I'd like you to expatiate more on that, if not just debt sustainability, and then let's also separate the federal government's debt and the subnational debt is also what would also like to help the listener understand, because from the figures available here, I see that the total federal government's total domestic external debt for this year so far is external debt is put at 33.25 trillion naira. That's about 43.16 billion US dollars. That's what our external debt, according to the federal government's debt, is standing at right now.
That figure is for both federal and states. That 33.25 trillion is for both federal and states.
Right. So
yes,
how do we get states to begin to separate? How do we get the states now to put a check on these borrowings now?
Okay, out of the entire 87 trillion naira debt that 87.38 trillion naira debt that we have, the states in total they owe about 9.17 trillion out of it, which is about between 12 and 15% of the total debt of the country. So that means the federal government is still the major borrower. But if you look at the problem we have is, if you look at the states and look at how much they have borrowed, can you confirm that 9.17 trillion is inside the 36 states of the federation? That is where the problem is. For example, Lagos, who is the highest borrower in terms of domestic debt, Lagos has almost 1,996 billion, almost 1 trillion naira. So, and in terms of external debt, that is foreign borrowings, Lagos has over $1.6 billion borrowing. So you now ask yourself, if I go around Lagos today, can I see investments totaling $1.6 billion and another 1 trillion naira? That is where the problem is. What is Lagos financing currently? Do we say the rail projects from Mile 2 to Lagos Island or Ibutemeta is what is gulping that money? Are you talking about the red line that is coming from Agbado down here? Are you talking about the bridge they are doing from Ikeja to Ojota? You see, the main thing is not borrowing. The main thing is, what are you borrowing to do? We expect that if you take $1 billion external fund, we expect to enter your economy and see this is $1 billion investment. Because this investment is supposed to create jobs, is supposed to create finance, is supposed to create good things inside your economy. It's supposed to turn around the economy. Once you pump money into the economy peaks. But what happens is that most times when our politicians collect all these loans, you can hardly trace at least 30% of the loans to what is on ground, in the sense that they spend on a lot of frivolities. And that is why SERAP is now coming out to say, first, stop any application for loan. Do an audit of what you have given them first. Secondly, if you find any mismanagement, can you please point it out and let us address it before you begin to give any further loan? Because we saw last week what was in the papers, where state governments were on a jamboree for their meal upkeep, oversight allowance. You begin to hear 300 billion, 400 million, purchasing SUV for a chief of staff for 440 million, buying perfumes for 7 point something, air fragrance and co. So I think SERAP is waking up to its responsibility, trying to check governments here and there to be sure that, and you know the problem with foreign borrowings, if you borrow locally and you borrow 1 billion naira, you only pay 1 billion naira. But if you borrow externally, you borrow $1 million, If the rate today, for example, the rate as of June was 470, that means if you borrowed $1 billion, you have borrowed 470 billion. But the rate today is about 1,000 naira on the window. That means you need about how much now to pay? Because rate increase, Nigeria has liberalized its foreign exchange. We now
It's
operate a
tied to the
single
US
market.
dollar.
Yeah, from 470 something, we are now on 800 and something official window. So if you are supposed to pay 470 something billion naira back in June, now you need to pay 800 and something billion. That is why you saw the data Nigerian Bureau of Statistics gave us moved from about 40 something billion to 80 something billion. It is the FX component. So if you take foreign loans and you don't manage them very well, you are going to find yourself in deep problem, which is what Nigeria is battling now.
Okay, I'll get back to you shortly because you've used Lagos as a case in point, but I also have figures also looking at places like Delta, which ranks next to Lagos, having close to about 500 billion naira in terms of its debt portfolio. Ogun, it comes up next with close to about 300 billion naira, and Sea Rivers also there. So in all of these states, just the top 10 states I've got here, Lagos, Delta, Ogun, Rivers, Imo, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Benue, Oyo, and Plateau. So how can we go through these 10 states and not point at what to say equates this money and these loans? Why are we so jinxed?
Yeah, the problem is the type of governance we run, the system of government we run in the country. It does not entrench accountability. You find people are not really involved in the process, and basically it is politicians and civil servants that run our daily lives for us. For example, you find a governor travel abroad, go to China, go to France, go to Germany, and brings money. The next thing he wants to do is to build an airport. Of what value is an international airport to people who cannot afford basic food on their table? You profile your state, you find out that, okay, only about 10 to 20% are civil servants that can take 30,000 naira home. Only another 20, 25% are private sector people who earn some money. So I have 50% that live from hand to mouth. They are small, medium enterprise people. So do they need to fly your international airport? No. Rather than put this money in airports, if you had put it in education or in agriculture or in some other investment, maybe it will have helped them. But what our people invest in here, what they call infrastructure, most times are just their own personal businesses where they will get money back. Anambra invested in international airport. Recently, I was reading that quite a number of airlines have touched down there. But commercially, you can see that this is still running at a loss. You have states close to you there that already has airports. Why are you investing in airports?
All right,
Because everybody
Shodeinde,
just wants to.
just a moment. I just needed to pause the thoughts a bit. I like to get back, touch base with the listener at this moment and let them
Okay.
go. They can be part of the conversation when we, after now, on 01-448-9981 will be where we like to get you to come in. Should international borrowers, multinational lenders stop loans to Nigerian states or even to the federal government at this moment? Would you support the call by Sarah? Is what we'd like to know when you call in, and then get your thoughts onto the conversation, our rising debt profile and how we can manage it adequately. We also would love to read messages from you on 0809-444-0981, but that will be after now.
What does future forward banking mean to you? Speed, innovation, convenience, lifestyle goals, or just simply getting service that is designed just for you. Yeah, we thought you might like all of that and more. That is why we specially created Providence Bank for you to take care of your daily experiences. At Providence Bank, we believe that banking should be all about you and your business and how to get you to the next level. If you do not already have a Providence Bank account, please speak with our business concierge on 0700 77 684 387 or email businessconcierge@providencebank.com to switch to a future forward banking experience. Providence Bank, the future forward banking. Providence Bank, future forward banking.
We're smooth 98.1 FM, 18 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. It is the 27th of November, 2023. I still got Peter's Shodeinde, a public affairs analyst, still helping us get a sense of what exactly is going on in terms of the rising debt profile in the 36 states of the Federation. And I wonder why we're not even throwing the FCT into this. Shodeinde, why are we making the FCT look like it's not incurring debts? I mean, what's happening?
No.
Just throw in the FCT.
Yes, the FCT is part of the 36 states. They are part of the people who has 9.17 trillion in debt. You can remember, even this last week, the National Assembly had invited the FCT minister that there is this $500 million CCTV project that was awarded. The contract was awarded sometimes back, is it 2016 or 2015? I think is either towards the later end of Jonathan's regime or Buhari. I don't know which of those two governments, but $500 million was released. And there is no single CCTV in Abuja. So you can imagine, let us imagine the rate of interest far back in 2015, 2016 was there about 200 and something to $1. That means back then, maybe you need to have paid about 10 or 1 point something trillion thereabout. And now, if you want to pay that $500 million, how much do you think Nigeria will be paying? So that is just one for FCT alone, CCTV project, $500 million, unaccounted for.
So in your opening submission, I want to go back to, you alluded to the 50s when our first external borrowings came in as a country, that much you mentioned. So I want to talk about what happened to having borrowings tied to national development plans of a country.
You see, most of these loans, when you collect them, they are tied to development, especially World Bank loans. World Bank does not give you loan to finance private enterprise or to finance private anything. What they do most times is bring your development program. Let us see it. Tell us what you will do in the short term, in the medium term, and what you expect to achieve in the long term. World Bank, IBRD, and other development agencies, they give only development loans. They don't give loans for frivolities. So Nigeria does not have a problem packaging loan, telling you, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But the problem is when they now get the loan, implementation is a major issue. Our politics affect our projects in the sense that by the time a government invests in, takes $500 million, I want to do CCTV. Let us assume that it was Jonathan's regime. APC came and APC will say, I'm not interested in this CCTV project. They abandon it, forgetting that Nigeria is exposed to the tune of $500 million out there. So the new man that comes abandons that one, servicing the loan, he will refuse to service. Or you will just keep servicing the loan, and the people who took the contract say, Oga, collect your own, forget about this thing. The money is for everybody. Why are you worried? So the problem is, we collect all these monies because we package the projects and send to World Bank, IBRD, the China Exim Bank, the Agency for France Development. We take it to all these people. They read it, they fall in love with it. Okay, let us put additional $1 billion into this. For example, Nigeria has gone we want to remove fuel subsidy. Give me some money. Let me pay palliatives to people. World Bank's, okay, I'll give you $800 million at maybe 1% interest rate. It's just a development loan. You want to help your people. Pay for 50 years, which 1% for 50 years is like free money. You just pay in bits, in bits, in bits, in bits. But you see, that government had gone. Another one has come. And then you see that the $800 million just collected, maybe they share it to party people or some few people. So that is the problem Nigeria has. They know that you want to remove subsidy. They know that there is poor of the poor who needs to be taken care of. So they will give you the money. Whatever you do with the money is now your own business. So that is why they keep giving us, because they know we are in need.
All right, so let's get calls coming on now. If you've been following the conversation so far, it's been a case of us getting to look at Nigeria's external debt and mismanagement of funds across states of the Federation against the backdrop of SERAP's call for a pause, granting loan to Nigerian subnationals, that's state government and probably extension the federal government, just so we can understand how deep we've sunk into this indebtedness right now and see how we can get our way out of it. So once again, let's get your calls on 01448-9981 will be where we'll get the calls onto 01448-9981, or send us a message onto 0809-40981 will be where we like to read that. So I would find a message already waiting. Cisco Delgado and a call also. Let's get this call quickly in. Hello, good morning. I would like to know your name and location, and do you think the lenders should stop lending subnationals or Nigerian government money? And then let's hear what you have to say. What's your name and location? David, so let's hear you.
I mean, there are things that keep you up at night. I mean, it's totally the problem. You see, when because I mean, the heart of a black man is just wicked. It's wicked. These people will take money and send their kids overseas and live lavishly, and I mean, the next man gets into it, does the same thing, and nothing is happening. It's painful.
All right, thank you very much. We had David who just called in now, and you too can be like David. Let's get your contribution to the conversation this morning on 01448-9981. But then there's a Cisco Delgado waiting on our WhatsApp platform. It says, not only the FCT, what happened to the CCTV contracts in Lagos? It's very unfortunate that our so-called leaders cannot see beyond the present times. Besides, there is no way a regime will forget pending or ongoing projects from their predecessor. What's the essence of the handover note? That's what Cisco Delgado is asking. And I'll go over now. He's asking me, and I would ask Peters Shodeinde this morning. So Peters, here we have it now. So what exactly when they hand over? Could this be an excuse that, okay, when we see some of this project not working, for example, the CCTV you even mentioned in Abuja, and yet you say, what's happening?
Yes, for the country, you see, the type of government we run has made it impossible for a handshake, even if one government is leaving to the other. We tie projects to people. We tie it to individuals. We tie it to parties. We do not tie it to the people, the citizens of the country itself. And there's little the citizens can do, in the sense that they will tell you, you have representatives in the National Assembly. This man is representing you. So whatever you think you need or is to be done, go and meet that man. But the man, as they are in the assembly or at the National Assembly, is also interested in the committees.
Peters, I'm afraid we have to hold you for a bit here. So good morning to you. Said from Ikeja.
Okay. I'll tell you that no government forgot any project from anywhere. They didn't forget anything. The only thing is that the predecessors have shared the gains of the loan that they took, and the new guys who come in have nothing to gain from continuing it. They've already shared the money. There's nothing to forget there. They've already shared the money. They have most of the money is already gone, and they don't have a share in it. And then they still don't need to continue, because most of these loans, let's just be blunt, is just another way to embezzle. I would say that boldly. That's my opinion. It's just another way to embezzle money. The primary there is corruption, and the thing we need to begin to do is to hold these people accountable. That's the only way we're going to move forward. We can talk about it on radio from now till kingdom come. Before the guy in the studio, the man in the studio speaking, other people have come on your session to talk about this. And tomorrow, more people will still come. And till kingdom come, other people will come. But we need to rise as the masses, because the organizations, the parastatals that we have kept in place to hold them accountable, like the EFCC, the police, the judiciary, they have all failed us. Most of the people should be in jail right now. A lot of people should be in jail, but they are not, because money is out of hands. So nothing is. I know there might be one or two good eggs there, but they are in.
All right. So you had your point already. We just had from Ted from Ikeja there, simply saying nothing was forgotten. So if you can do this for us in about a minute, but then you get back to respond more. But then this is what he's saying. It seemed like when people come in,
okay, I
understand.
I understand where Ted is coming from. Ted is like, for example, I could remember the Lagos State. I think it's the Blue Rail was abandoned by Ambode. It didn't really do much, if I am correct, on it until Sanwo-Olu came and they have delivered it now. They were saying then that there was actually nothing in it. They had borrowed so much money and it didn't want to waste money again on this particular project. You see, Ted is not totally wrong in the sense that sometimes they collect this money. I'm just finding out that the $500 million of Justice City was that contract was since 2010 under Jonathan. And then since 2010, 500 million was even given to a Chinese company. And up till now, nothing to show for it. It's possible the money has been shared. That is not out of place. But we do not have evidence to prove that it has been shared. That's why I don't want to totally rely on what Ted has said. If he thinks it has been shared, then it is for the security agencies to actually make some arrest and prove. Maybe the Senate committee investigation will bring out quite a whole lot of things. But the one thing that is sure is that we collect loans from these institutions, but we do not see the value down here. And there is need for explanation, like Sarah said.
Need for explanation, just hold it there. We'll be able to get more calls in after now on 014489981. You get the prompting when we get back for more calls to come in. I've got with me still talking Peters Shodeinde, a public affairs analyst, helping us understand how Nigeria can get to manage its debt and begin to show results for all the amount. We currently stand at about 87 trillion naira in debt. But look at the landscape. What are we to show for it?
Providence Bank. Future. This is Smooth 98.1. What does future forward banking mean to you? Speed, innovation, convenience, lifestyle goals, or just simply getting service that is designed just for you? Yeah, we thought you might like all of that and more. That is why we specially created Providus Bank for you to take care of your daily experiences. At Providus Bank, we believe that banking should be all about you and your business and how to get you to the next level. If you do not already have a Providus Bank account, please speak with our business concierge on 0700 77 684 387 or email businessconcierge@providusbank.com to switch to a future-forward banking experience. Providus Bank, future forward banking.
This is Sweet Breakfast on your dial. Just people like it.
We're smooth 98.1 FM. It's still Lagos Talks 981, where we're picking up the conversation, and that's relating to what the social economic rights group Serap is speaking about, talking. Look, it's time for lenders to stop giving Nigerian subnationals and even the Nigerian government loans. Let's know what we are doing right now with so much given so far. But then will be a place for picking a call and then get back to Peter's Shodeinde this morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. I'd like to know your name and location. Walker from Lekki. So Walker, yes, we can. Go ahead. Walker, we're listening to you. Go on.
Okay. I strongly believe that international, you understand, agencies to start to stop lending Nigerian money. Just I understand that they are doing business as well, and they know that Nigeria is an entity where they know if they lend money to them, and they would, in one way or the other, get their money back, even with the interest. So they are business people as well. That is why they are not being followed up, because supposing they have been doing follow-up, they will have known before now that the money, all the monies they have been lending to Nigeria has not been judiciously used to the general interest of the Nigerian populace. It's just the few that are embezzling the money. So I think I agree with Sarah that if they really want to do the right thing, they should stop giving Nigeria loans. They should demand for accountability and so far what the money they have given to Nigeria in the past have been used for. Now on the aspect of those who come into power and claim that they do not know the contracts that the previous government have awarded. I think this is the reason why some of these people in government, whenever they want to give, they seek to replace themselves with their loyalists who will cover their tracks. Because by the time you leave office and you work so hard, like what we are seeing in River State, for your allies to take over power from you, I think one of the basic agreements they go down with before handing over power is that whatever I've done during my regime, when you come, you don't expose me. That is that. On the aspect of accountability, we Nigerians, most of us accept and we have agreed that our leaders have to be held accountable. But it seems somehow that we are in conflict with our conscience. Because we have such accountability because our people or people from our region have not taken over power, because that is what we see. If not, so what we witness, the kind of hell Nigeria underwent, or Nigerians underwent under Buhari, and the president administration came and said, I want to start from where Buhari stopped. Not borrowing. And he has before, he has started because Buhari borrowed to an extent, then the first following suit, borrow and having a clear understanding of sort of.
Okay, Walker, thank you so much. Walker, you made a point. Others are waiting on the line to get the call across. So let's get back to Peters. Peters, you've heard this caller like Ted, you heard Walker already speaking on this, that there is need to get accountability out. But in response to it, this is how I like to get it across to you. Because now we begin to, yes, there is a problem of accountability. So what if there is an alternative to say, yes, you want the loan. What do you want to do? You package the proposals of this, let's say the CCTV, for example. Now, these lenders would outsource it to make sure that where are you fixing it? You say, well, let's say Delta, right? Okay, we source it out. They would pay. It will be fixed. And the government will see that it's been done. We all see it there. Would that be an alternative to this situation we find ourselves in, of borrowing and not seeing what we use it for, or paying so much for so little?
Okay, you are getting close to what China does with Africa. China, if it wants to give you loan, it will ask you, what do you want to do? I want to do rail line from Lagos to Ibadan. They will cost it and tell you this is the value. We will come and do it. For Chinese, people believe that they can help you add your own money on top of the project, but that is just an assumption. So that is why you find what other countries in Africa will do for $300 million, Nigeria will be doing it for $800 million. But the Chinese will come, they will do that Lagos to Ibadan rail for you. When they do it for you, they will be the one to maintain it for a number of years before they hand over to you finally. So they are different from the World Banks that will just give you money. They will give you the money, then they might introduce vendors to you. But you'll find out that our politicians have a way around that. Once they get the money they are interested in, then they begin to invest in whatever they feel they want to do. Rather than go ahead and put the money to judicious use, let us assume that we want to build a bridge. Instead of spending $300 million to build a bridge, they will use $100 million to build that bridge and tell you it is $300 million. You use the bridge for 2-3 years and it is already bad. You need to start doing maintenance over and over and over again. So that's what you have proposed is good. China does it with Africa. They do Lagos to Ibadan rail for Nigeria. They do it in so many other countries too. So that is why you see so many African countries, developing countries, running towards China, because China will not give money just like that. They will come and do the project themselves. They will bring their own people from their country, creating employment from their people, even outside home, to come and do the rail. They won't allow your people to. For years, they will still continue to manage the project. So you can see why people are running towards China, and it is always causing problem between the Western world and the Chinese, that these people that we have taken as slaves, giving them money, you are just liberating them, doing this for them. So a whole lot of international politics also come into when developing countries want to take loan. But what you have proposed is a nice idea. If we put it as part of our laws, that money should not be given directly to states, put your projects there. Let's look for people who will come and deliver the project, then we hand them over the money. So, but in Nigeria, you can look at the P&ID case. Almost 1/3 of our reserve was almost gone if we lost that case. About $11 billion. Where do you want to start from?
So that leads me to a comment that was credited. Well, he said it is not come forward to say it was quoted out of context. That's the National Security Advisor, because this is in itself also connected when we look at how these loans have built up, or the debts have built up over the years. It isn't just the Tinubu administration that has incurred this 87 trillion naira. So in itself, when the government of the day tells you that, well, via the National Security Advisor, saying they inherited a broke or a bankrupt administration, how does that even sound, and what lessons would creditors take from it?
Yes, it's not only the National Security Advisor that said that. The governor of Anambra State, which was a former governor of the central bank, came last week Friday and also said that this government inherited a dead horse standing, to show you how bad the economy is. We found out that quite a lot of what we think we had, we did not have. We were looking at a $34 billion foreign exchange reserve, only for the Morgan Chase managing the portfolio for us to tell you that, no, you have used almost 2/3 of this, your reserve, as collateral for either oil swaps or some things that you had done. So don't say you have $34 billion. You do not have that type of money. We discovered later that some future oil we're going to produce has already been used as collateral for some loans we took in the past. You discovered that CBN had gone ahead to give ways and means, printing money to the tune of 22 trillion naira, which was not open to the public initially. So I don't pity the people at the ends of affairs now, because if they want to work, they have to start from foundation, except they want to do what the last government has done, just keep borrowing, and at the end of the day, everything collapses.
Okay, let's get back to the phone line and bring in some more calls and reaction to this one this morning on 014489981. We'll take your calls. This is against the backdrop of Serap's call that lenders, the multinational lenders, the IMFs and the World Banks of this world, should cease to give state governments, in their words, loans, as there is nothing to show for it. There is need for an audit of what it has been spent on. We stand at 87 trillion naira in debt right now. So let's get your call on 014489981. Should this multinational lenders just pause these loans for now? Let's clear all what we are just owing right now, and the project itself show us working as we speak. As they say, when you solve math, if X equals to Y, show why it is this and that. So, but we'll get back. Let's get back to Mr. Shodeinde this morning once again. So in itself, when we look at Nigeria's development pattern in terms of the way it would ask for loan, and they will quickly tell you even the US government is also owing. Why is Nigeria's case different?
All countries in the world, what US is owing China and other countries is staggering. Nigeria is not close to what so many countries are owing. There's not a problem owing. The problem is, can you manage your portfolio? You see, for a country like Nigeria, we are not supposed to have issues with debt. But because we run a system that entrenches corruption, whereby one man decides the fate of people in the state and decides the state of people in the country. For example, a state like Abia has gold, has lead, has limestone. Abuja has gold, has marble, tantalite. Adamawa has gypsum, bentonite, magnesium. Akwa Ibom, limestone, uranium, oil and gas. Lagos has the seaport, has oil. If you move from Lagos to Ogun, Ogun has limestone, arable land. Ogun has oil. Move from Ogun to Oyo, Oyo has marble, has the best of farms in the country. Move from Oyo to Osun, Osun has steel, Osun has gold, Osun has tourism. Move from Osun to Ondo, Ondo has bitumen, Ondo has oil and gas. Ondo has, go from there, go to Ekiti, to Benin, to Delta. God has blessed Nigeria. The problem is we run a government whereby everybody goes to Abuja, go and sit down there and wait for money to be shared by FAC. Until we stop this type of government, we copy democracy from America. Each state is independent in America. Source your resources underground, fund your lifestyle from what you earn. How would a state like Zamfara with that type of gold be the poorest in the country? And some few individuals. So until we stop this type of governance that we run, whereby one man will decide, for the last 8 years, we heard the government failed. So because Buhari failed, 200 million Nigerians are failed. We should not continue.
All right, just give us a moment right now. So if you just joined in, we're approaching the final stretch of Lagos Talks 981. One wonders the way you've just sold out the potentials in each of the states, why you are not an ambassador to begin to canvas for investment.
No, it is there in the public.
We'll find out shortly, but just let us do this. We'll get a few more calls in on 014489981 after now.
The radio. Smooth. My name is Johnny Drill, and for the best of soul,
we need to
keep it tuned in to Smooth 98.1. This is Johnny Drill.
You know I can get good sneakers. You sabi Pollution Street, abi? After the last bus stop, enter the second turn on the left, then turn right after the coconut tree. Just they go. Introducing Shodeinde, the new online marketplace that connects buyers and sellers. Buy from the comfort of your home and get access to a wide range of products. If you are a seller, display your goods to millions at the touch of a button. Visit shopmore.ng now to get started on mobile. The medium of exchange, the currency that flows through the veins of any viable economy, your money. Tune in to Smooth 98.1 for a definitive weekly analysis and check on your income. Plus, one rich talk format. It's all about your finances made easy. What a way to run your life. Personal finance on Smooth 98.1 every Wednesday from 5:15 p.m. Why? Such a smooth 98.1.
We're Smooth 98.1 FM. We're at that stretch finally, where it will be a wrap shortly on the show. It's Lagos Talks 981 and by extension, the Smooth Breakfast this morning for the 27th of November 2023. Go over now while I wait for a call or two to come in on 014489981. I've got messages waiting already. Austin comes in with a message for us this morning where it says, okay, it says, Nigeria and state borrowing will not stop because the individuals in charge of approving the loans for the borrowing companies are getting their hands greased secretly by those requesting for the loans because they know that somehow they will steal from money to bribe them individually. Allegedly, that's from Austin from Satellite. Then Cisco Delgado comes back with a message for us. It says, the truth is that Nigeria needs to cut down our expenses on government needs, mostly non-essential items. Government needs to encourage small, medium enterprises to produce local produce for exportation. Cisco Delgado left us that message. So it's obvious, and from the calls we've gotten so far, and from the messages I've read, Mr. Shodeinde, it tells us we cannot stop borrowing. And from the last point where we picked up, even America is in debt to China and some other parts of the world. So in summary, as we go, could there be a clearance, like a clearance house that does its job properly to see that before subnationals go to borrow from these multinational and international lenders, there's a way it's cleared and it's feasible?
Yes, you see, the debt management office does that on behalf of all states of the federation. You can't go as a state directly and just enter. They would need your federal government through the DMO to approve that this state is viable, so that when you fail, the federal government will pay that money on your behalf. Do you understand? So it's not as if there is no clearinghouse. But when a state goes to the DMO and says, I want to develop my state, I want to do mass housing, the DMO will not tell you not to do it. They just look at your FAQ. How much have you borrowed? How much are you paying as interest and principal? Do you still have enough cushion after salaries and co? They will do your normal due diligence and pass you. You cannot rule out for the case in Nigeria whereby a governor will promise the man in DMO, don't worry, you take $1 million from the money, pass this thing and move on. Everybody does what they want to do and go. But the main thing there is, I think, like Sarah has said, we should even halt whatever loan we have for now. Let's do an audit of what is on ground. For me, I feel very well that this system of government that we run, whereby everybody goes to Abuja to collect money, should be stopped and scrapped.
Hello, just before we go, a call here waiting. You are the last caller. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Master.
Good morning. Your name and location? Oh, Chief, you're welcome this morning. So let's get your contribution. You're the final caller for today.
The analyst is giving us breakdown concerning the loan and our development in Nigeria.
Your radio is interfering. Could you turn it down completely? Then let's hear you. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, go on now. It's better.
Okay. He mentioned the things that they can be independent. But the major problem we have, Onaito said in the newspaper, you are anchoring that program, newspaper review, that Nigeria will need a review of our ideology or something like that. And some of the analysts were like trying to argue that statement he made. If we do not go back to reorient ourselves, we will never have it right. Tribalism, nepotism have eaten us. And the people who gave us independence have confused us. They continue to think forward. But we have our limitation in thinking. We don't think. And that is our problem. Black men don't think forward. We only want to, we don't want to solve problems and then go beyond our immediate problem. That is where we are. The educated ones in Nigeria are doing nothing.
All right, Chief.
Yeah, thanks to the caller, but I disagree with him that black man.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you so much. Okay, so in summary, you heard what Chief is speaking
Yes,
about.
I disagree with him that black man don't think. Go abroad, go to America, go to UK. You have a lot of blacks, our Nigerians, running shows for them over there, thinking from them. Akinwumi Adesina, the African Development Bank, was a consultant to the US president back then. We have quite a lot. So to remove the fact that if you say greed is in our system, fine, but that we don't think, I disagree with you. So for me, I feel that because these governors have seen that they can go to Abuja and collect money every time, they don't work at home. They have resources, but they don't care. So I think we should begin to unbundle this exclusive list and begin to get them busy. When you struggle for your money at home, when the government is closer to the people, people are able to put their eyes, okay, this local government, this is how much we bring it to the table. This is what we want. Bring the government closer to the people, restructure the country, or else we'll continue in this mess.
Thank you so much. What a time we've had with you, Peter Shodeinde, Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you for your time. We really do appreciate you. Have a great day.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Honestly, we may have course to bring you back once again to shed light on national issues. We hope you oblige us.
Yeah, thanks. I will.
All right, so that's where we leave it today. It's been issues relating to management of Nigeria's resources, and Sarah calling for an audit of everything relating to what we've borrowed so far. Let's show working for all we've collected thus far. It's been the issues, and you heard it all. We've got David from VIU called in, Ted from Ikeja, Walker from Lekki, Chief Joseph from Okafo, who also called in. I read messages from Cisco Delgado. I had Austin from Satellite. The messages just kept coming on, and of course there's still some calls coming in right now, but this is how far we can stretch the show this morning. But I'll leave you with the final words of Peter Shodeinde, meaning governors should stay back at home and look at their resources and develop their areas. More like saying this: when you fetch your own water, you know what happens to you? You will know the value of every drop of it. And that's the size of the show this morning. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. Oluwaseun Olusegun will be here for Strictly Soul. AY and Joy will be here for the